How's it going, guys? I haven't seen anybody mount a Raymarine to a Bonafide kayak yet this year, so I decided to film this and put it up on YouTube for you guys. Check out how I mounted my Raymarine. I got the Dragonfly 4. I guess we'll start with the back with the transducer wire and battery cable. All I did here was take your latch off, do the front as well. Now what I did is I came in just below the hinge on the front. I drilled it was about a 1/2 inch hole. Once you get the 1/2 inch hole poked through, you can take your transducer wire here, pinch it in half. Don't want to pinch it too much, we don't want to damage the cable, but just enough to get it through that hole. You might want to go bigger than a 1/2 inch. I was just trying to keep the hole as small as possible. Let me get these wires out of the way. So if we open up the inside, I come through the top right here and coil our wire up, put some zip ties in there, make it nice and neat, and our battery sits right there in the slot it's designed for. Then coming back out of the back, we got our power wire and the transducer cable, and we just run it right up the side here. Take this back off. If you noticed how this is slotted, it's made for that transducer wire to go right down to the bottom there. Put that back in one more time. As you can see, it doesn't pinch. I've got a little bit of slack in there if I need to, but it runs just on this side of the hinge. So come up, connect to the fish finder. Now, on the top side for the fish finder mount, if you go into the bottom here, you can see where they have pre-drilled holes already. I believe these four are for Lowrance or some other brand, I'm not sure, but they do have the 3 triangle mounts for the mount that comes with your Raymarine. So drill it from the inside. They've already got it pre-drilled. Don't put a lot of pressure on this plastic. It tends to crack very easily. So what I actually did, I think that's 11/64 bit. I started out small, piloted it up, and kept going until I got to the size of my screw. These are, I believe, number 2 machine screws, fine thread. I did put a washer and a lock washer, and then you can see I sealed it up with just a little bit of marine silicone. Keep watertight. We don't want any moisture getting in there. Now we'll close it up. We'll lift up and show you what I did with the transducer. So the transducer, I was afraid it was going to hang too low in the water, but we got a pretty deep well right here. So one issue I had when I was first mounting this is I wanted to mount this in the middle. Well, if you mount it too far forward, what happens is when you put it down into the kayak, the front of the transducer was hitting the front of the boat here. So I had to slide it back a little bit. Now when I slid it back, you don't want to come to where the bend is right here, because again, if you notice, if you go back any further, almost hits the back of the kayak there. So I mean, just wherever it's comfortable enough. Hey, Bubba, watch out. Let's put it back down, Bubba. You latch it in for me? Good job. So if you go underneath here, this is where my biggest concern was. I was afraid I was going to drag the bottom. But if we flush the transducer mount up, I don't know if you can see too well, but from a side perspective here, you can see you got about a 1/2 inch gap or drop from the bottom of the hole here to the transducer. So you shouldn't have any issues with running through stumps and all that good stuff. And plus, you know, the Raymarine's made to come back if you hit anything. But it was a pretty easy mount. Again, if you go back on the inside where I drilled the holes for the transducer, that was my biggest concern, because that's the closest to the water column anything's going to be. So again, I used flat washers and lock washers on the inside, and a little bit of the marine silicone just on the inside of the washers to plug up the holes. And I also did the same here where I brought my transducer cables through. And that's about it, guys. So if you liked it, if it helped you out, let me know.